Carolyn and myself, my wife, we sailed up the coast. Anyway, we were anchored in Orpheus, and that we heard on the radio the news that David Haig and a whole heap of protesters had been bashed up at Hinchinbrook in Cardwell, and to the point where David was bashed and actually pushed down into the mud of the low tide at Hinchinbrook, and yeah, badly hurt. Anyway, it sort of spurred us on to sort of go, well, we've got to get involved in this campaign. And we thought, yep, let's give Townsville a go. And so we sailed in and got the boat into Breakwater Marina. And the next day, we went and found NQCC office and went in and said, hey, do you need any volunteers? And it was Margaret Morehouse and Jeremy Tager were there, and they said, yes, definitely, we need volunteers. So we just started doing stuff straight away. And there was lots of times, I think we went up, there was a few demonstrations, so we'd go in a party from Townsville up to Cardwell. And I remember one time there's a whole heap of young people that are all quite adults now, demonstrating. I think Danica Tager and her friend Laura, I don't know, but they were all in the mud and demonstrating about against the Hinchinbrook proposal, and I thought it was worth demonstrating against because basically the whole of Hinchinbrook Island plus that channel is such a pristine place, and it it's sort of understandable that Cardwell wanted to get a bit of the action, but what Keith Williams was proposing was totally out of place. Had he proposed a modest marina, it may have been okay, but what he was proposing was possibly the Gold Coast in a wilderness sort of situation, or World Heritage, environment, and yeah, so it was well worth saving or trying to save. There was another time that we went, both Carolyn and I actually, we knew that one of the federal ministers was actually going to visit the whole area, and he was coming in by boat to sort of virtually rubber stamp I can't remember if it was a federal, it must have been a state minister, rubber stamp the whole proposal. And Carolyn and I actually were going to blockade him with our boat with sails specifically made, which said "Save Hinchinbrook" all written all over. And so we were anchored in a spot, and we were going to sail backwards and forth as his boat was coming in from Lucinda. We were going to zigzag in front of them. Anyway, as it happened, he didn't arrive by sea. He actually decided to go on the land and go approach it by road. But anyway, as a result, we anchored the boat, went off again, and joined up with the rest of the crew and demonstrated on the land once again. And when we were coming back, we had to navigate through Sunday Creek, and by this stage it was almost twilight, so a great time for crocodiles. And we sort of had Pat Coleman with us, and there was Carolyn and myself, and I think that was it. Anyway, we were sort of paranoid about these crocodiles because we virtually had to drag the dinghy through over mud into a next lot of dried out water, and paddle away or motor away, and then drag it over another lot of mud. And we were so like, oh my goodness, this is not good. So that was quite memorable. And it was after a while, I think they said, there's an opening, we need a new treasurer. We have, and Charlie Allen is quit, and we're without a treasurer. Would you like to just do that for a little while? Just all you got to do is enter a few things into the computer, and I thought, well, how hard can that be? And as it turned out, it was quite difficult, but but eventually I got the hang of it, and I also learned computer skills which I'd never had, and yeah, I ended up being the treasurer for them for 13 years. And we actually had a discussion, or several discussions, about what we wanted NQCC to be, and primarily we wanted it to be an advocacy group rather than a trained dog for a government, tree planting campaigns and stuff like that. Not saying that tree planting is not good. All I'm saying is that we wanted to be the spokesperson for the environment. We wanted to object to, proposals by big businesses that were totally inappropriate. We wanted to have clean air, clean water, and a beautiful environment, and maintain it. Yeah, one of the really nice things of being involved with NQCC is that we actually met a whole heap of like-minded people. Environmentalists, people that didn't criticise or look down at us because we're vegetarians or think that we're tree-hugging wackos. No, it was really beautiful. We met wonderful people like Jeremy Tager and Margaret Morehouse, Margaret Thorsborn, Ken Parker. There's a whole host of people that were absolutely wonderful, enthusiastic, energetic people. And then we also met, also there was a whole heap of academics from JCU that would contribute to either the marine biology aspects of our campaigns, or Gethin Morgan, who was a botanist, their input. It made us feel quite at home, and we'd never felt that in Sydney, despite being surrounded by relatively intelligent people. It was just felt wonderful to be here. And it's really quite surprising, really, because we didn't expect it from Townsville.